Hey everybody, welcome to day 8, Metabolism Engineering Internship Writing Design Decisions. Now, we are actually going to skip over a large section of this. There is some feedback that you are not going to receive from Amina. Feedback regarding your evidence and your use of evidence. So we still are going to examine our evidence and how much evidence that we used. However, we are not receiving feedback letters this time. So again, we didn't receive the feedback on our evidence, but let's take a look. Our design decisions paragraphs should include multiple pieces of evidence from different sources, and let's take a look at what those types of evidence can be. So here's our types of evidence, our design details and results. What was our goal, comparing our design to other designs that we had made previously, and some of our background research. So design details and results, the details, the nutrient details, and the proposed optimal design and recipe test results. So some of the things that we saw, like actually in recipe test, and some of the things that we learned about each of those individual nutrients. What was your goal after you received the feedback letter in day 6? What did you decide, hey, this is what I really want to go for? These are the numbers I'm really shooting for. And for comparing designs, again, some of your previous designs and how they stack up against your final design. And then lastly, our background research. Reading from the dossier, from our iterative tests. Remember when we kept doing one test and then we would let that inform the next one, and then we would let that inform the next one, and let that inform the next one. And when we did our ingredient analysis, when we made the bars with just one ingredient only, and we saw what levels did they provide for us as far as our metabolic needs, cost, etc. That should have really given us a lot of good ideas about the ingredients. So again, this is saying, hey, based on Amina's feedback, we don't have that feedback, but I want you to look at your proposals, and I want you to consider, is there enough evidence? Do you have enough evidence? What evidence should I include? Hey, go back to that last slide we just looked at, all those types of evidence, and make sure you have multiple strong pieces of evidence. This is very important too. Is your evidence related to the specific criterion? Is it really backing up the cost criterion or the taste criterion? And then lastly, the suggestions for improving your use of evidence. If you want, you can go ahead and send me an email, and I will take a look specifically at your evidence, and I can give you some feedback on that. Today, we are actually going to begin work on our final proposals. We're going to be actually writing some things down in complete sentences. Before, we had just kind of taken some notes, but now we're actually going to try to turn those notes into paragraphs. So we'll start by writing our design decisions paragraph using a form like this one. This should be in your future workspace. Don't forget about this rubric. I had somebody actually email me about this recently because one of the sections was cut off. So I uploaded a copy of this rubric to your lesson today in Google Classroom. You should have a PDF version of this. And today, one of the things we want to focus on right now is looking carefully at the section on scientific communication. So let's expand that and look at what scientific communication looks like for Excels. This is always where we want to be. We want to try to get over to the Excels column as much as possible. So if in our proposal, our final proposal, if we want to look really good, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use topic-specific vocabulary clearly and appropriately. Right? So you actually have to know how to use the terms that you're using. Use this formal writing style successfully. So this means you're using complete sentences, you're using proper punctuation, capitalization, you're using spell check. Please use spell check. But that's what that's saying, that you're using a lot of good vocabulary and you are using a proper writing style. Now, I have copied and pasted a list of topic-specific vocabulary to your assignment today in Google Classroom. It's just not a separate document. It's just copy and pasted into the directions. Try to use all of those words. We'll see those in actually just a second here. When Here's the question. When you're writing a paper for science class, do you write differently than you do when you write an email or text message to a friend? The answer is you should. You very much should. Some of you don't. Some of you, I try to interpret what you're saying, but since you are not using a formal writing style, it's not always clear what you're trying to get across. So part of that is making sure that you're getting your message across clearly. So that is extremely important to do. No like abbreviations or anything like that. Here is that list of topic-specific vocabulary that I was talking about. And this one is the one that's I copied and pasted into your directions. But when you look at this list, every single one of these words should show up somewhere, at least once, if not multiple times, in your proposal. Because these are all key things that we have been discussing and talking about, and key things that have been guiding our decisions, all of our design decisions for our health bar. So every single one of these words should show up in there somewhere. Don't forget, this is a great resource, the sample proposal in the dossier. Now, of course, yeah, it's not about health bars, it's about a toothbrush. However, it has all the same sections as your proposal. And it's really great just to see, okay, how did they do this? How can I do that with mine? How did they use their information and turn it into paragraphs? And actually, we are just about to take a look at that. Excuse me. Did I attach this sheet to your lesson? Hang on. I did attach it, so lucky us. But with the toothbrush example, this is like what you had done, right? With when you created your outline on the left here. So you created an outline, you talked about your results, your goals, comparing to other designs. You had background research that you had done. And same thing with these people who designed this toothbrush. They did the same exact thing. They had tests, they had goals, they had multiple designs, they did background research, and we can see how it's color-coded here, how they used this information and they put it into paragraph form. So this is exactly what we're expecting for you to do. Take your information from your outline and put it into paragraph form. So it might be handy to have this open while you are trying to put your outline into paragraphs. Just again, as a reference for how to do that, because it might be kind of confusing. Like, what am I supposed to do for design goal? Okay. Our goal, they talk about how their rating was 84%, which is better than our goal of 80%. Oh, great. Okay, so that means that they exceeded their goal. I get it. Okay, I see how we're supposed to do that. All of the information from your data analysis should go into your paragraph. And we need to have at least two strong pieces of evidence from the background research. Now, let's talk about how to get some of that information. You're going to be transferring your outline responses into the final proposal form and for metabolic needs. So here's a handy way to do it. Pin the proposal outline form using the pin icon in the top right corner. So it should open that up for you and keep it separate. And then you can also open the final proposal form. And then you're going to, look, it's animated here. You're going to copy it and paste it right there. Copy it and paste it. Now, we are not going to leave it in that format, but we are going to then turn it into paragraph form, right? But now we have it all in one place. So review the notes that you copied, decide which parts you'll want to write about in your design decisions paragraphs, and then write your 3 paragraphs. Metabolic needs, taste, cost per bar. What influenced your design decisions? Please use that sample proposal as a reference. If you get stuck, go take a look at that, see how they did it. Obviously, they didn't do metabolic needs, taste, and cost per bar, but they did have criteria that they had to meet as well. So again, hopefully that's helpful. And we want to be done with this by the end of the day, and we will see you next time.